All right, what's new? What's new? Back with another pick here today. Yesterday, man, went all right. We went 1-1. We got the Philadelphia 76ers correct. We had them versus the Hawks. That was a sweater, man. That was a good game. Didn't go quite how I said it would, but I had said if I'm picking the 76ers, I wanted to remain close all game. It did. I said the 76ers would pull away at the end. They didn't really pull away. They more so held off the Hawks, and they were able to take that game. Game 7 should be good. I'm looking forward to that one. And the other game we picked, once again, we got the first game right. And I'm like, watching the Jazz. We had the Jazz in that game. I have it on. We're up 25 at half. I'm like, all right, we got this. I'm trusting the Jazz a little bit more than I do, like the Sixers or the Bucks in this situation. I really don't know why because they've shown, history of choking recently. The Nuggets series, now this series. But we're up 26 at half or 25 at half, whatever it is. I'm thinking, ain't no way Donovan Mitchell gonna let them come back in this game. It wasn't all his fault, obviously, but the dude was playing on one ankle. The injury got worse as the game went on. He kind of faded away in the second half, and the Clippers were able to come back and win the game without Kawhi Leonard, down 25. Terrence Mann, I mean, what can be said? Dude went off. He scored 39, career high, playoff season, career high. Um, and what's next for the Jazz, man? That's the question. If you ask me, man, I just don't think winning is going to be possible when you're winning the title is going to be possible when you're paying Rudy Gobert $40 million a year. I think something's got to be done about that. I mean, anyone with eyes can see that he was unplayable in this game. In the second half. I mean, he gets paid that amount of money for what he does on defense. He's not even a good offensive player, really, and he becomes unplayable in these playoff series versus teams that go small. So it's like, how are you gonna win with that? How can you win when you're paying this guy so much? I think that became very clear today. I mean, or last night. Definitely, they got to do something because how long is Donovan Mitchell gonna want to stay there? You know what I'm saying? And as a Knicks fan, I'm saying right now, if Donovan Mitchell ever requests a trade, you do whatever it takes to get him. You do whatever it takes, man. That's the guy where I'm like, I'm willing to go all in. I'm willing to sell the house for it. I'm not willing to give up the house for Damian Lillard, who's 30 years old. Not really willing to give up the house for really anyone else. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to a trade, but for Donovan Mitchell, I would give up the house. I would give up whatever it takes, including RJ, including anyone. I would prefer obviously to keep RJ and keep Randall. But if it's Donovan Mitchell on the table, man, I would give up nearly anything. I wouldn't give up Randall, and I'd try not to give up RJ, but I would give up anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy that I really, really want in New York, man. I think that's the guy right there that you trade everything for. But I don't think he's in the request to trade quite yet. I think he has a couple more years in Utah. But they got to figure out something. Figure out something with Rudy Gobert. They're not going to win a title with Rudy Gobert, getting that amount of money. So they got to figure something out. See what they do. They'll probably make some changes. I don't see them trading Gobert quite yet. I just don't see who's even going to want to trade for him. So see what they do. The game we got today, we're 3 minutes in. We still haven't even talked about this game. In Game 7, it's the Milwaukee Bucks going to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. And this one's juicy, man. Back and forth series. Every home team has won every game in this series. Not quite an anomaly. This is, home court advantage is an advantage, and this is kind of what you expect almost. Total opposite from that Mavs versus Clippers series. Home court advantage has proved to matter in this series. But if you're the Nets, you're not feeling all the way confident, or if you're a Nets fan, if you even exist, you're not feeling overly confident in the fact that the Nets are at home. It's a Game 7 at the end of the day. A couple shots send you home. So me with my luck with the Bucks, I've gotten every single Bucks pick wrong in this series, whether I'm picking against them, whether I'm picking for them. 2 times this happened where I picked them to win, but they didn't cover by razor thin amounts, half of a point, 1.5 points. You know what I'm saying? So I've just had no luck with the Bucks. And to be honest with you, if I had to pick, gun on my head, who's gonna win this game by how much, I'd probably go with the Nets. To be completely honest with you, but I'm actually staying away from the game. Who's winning and who's winning by how much? I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going with the over under total. Over under total is 215.5, which is the lowest of any game in this series. And we already know what the bill coming in this game is. With these two teams coming into this series, what the what the reputation is. We have two high scoring teams, two high octane offenses. You have the Brooklyn Nets, who are known for playing all offense and very little defense. I must say in this series they have played some defense. And the Bucks, they can play some defense as well, but they're a team that can score a ton of points as well. When they really get going, they can put up 120. We haven't really seen much of that this series from the Bucks because the offense hasn't been great. The offense is getting better and better as the series goes on, I'd say. And then on the Nets side, you have James Harden, who recently just came back from injury. He's starting to get a lot. We've seen a little bit of improvement. The first game, he was really rough, didn't really look himself at all. Second game, he looked a little bit better. And today, I'd expect him to look even further along. So with that being said, man, I think everything's pointing here towards the over. That's what I'm leaning towards. The only thing pointing towards the under is the fact that it's a game 7. You know what I'm saying? Every game in Brooklyn has been fairly high scoring. Every game in Brooklyn except for one. There's only been 3 games in Brooklyn, so it's not really saying a whole much. But the two games in Brooklyn have went over this total. And the only game where it didn't go over 215 was the game where the Bucks only scored 85. I don't really expect it to happen again today, just because the Bucks offense has been looking better. But I think everything's pointing towards the over here. This is the lowest point total that has been set for this whole entire series, and the only reason why is because it's a game 7. I know game 7s are traditionally a little bit more low scoring than any other game in the series, but these are two highly offensive teams. This is a new NBA, so I'm going with the over here. It's going to be over 215.5. When it comes to the game and who I'm rooting for, look at the channel name. Take a guess who I'm rooting for. But with that being said, man, our pick in this game is over 215.5 points. That'll be our pick. Good luck to you all today who bet the game. We'll see what happens.